Hi guys, in this video we're gonna start working on our enemies. This video is gonna concern the zombie character, which is a character who behave like this. When he sees us, he's gonna move toward us and damage us. He's gonna affect our armor first, then when the armor is depleted, our health is gonna start to deplete until it's equal to 0. So first of all, we're gonna create a new folder in the content folder, which we're gonna name enemies. In this folder, we're gonna create another folder, name it zombie. So we open this folder. We're gonna use for the zombie character the third person character class of Unreal Engine, so we should import this class. For this, we're gonna save our work and create a new project of the games category. Next, base it on the third person template. Next, the default settings, and we're gonna name it import project. We hit create project. We wait for the project to launch. So this is the default third person template project of Unreal Engine. We wait for it to do its thing. So I'll be back to you in a second, guys, when this project is set. So guys, I have the project opened. What we should do is to migrate the third person character class to our project, which we named Zombies and Shooters T. So in the third person BP folder, blueprint folder, third person character, asset actions, migrate. It's gonna migrate this blueprint class with its associated assets, animations, and everything else to the Zombies and Shooters T project. I hit OK. So in the Unreal project folder, the folder containing our Unreal projects, gonna scroll down to Zombies and Shooters T, gonna access content folder, and I'm gonna hit select folder. Content migration completed successfully. So we open back our project, just in my case in the bottom, Zombies and Shooters T, open project. Now we should have the third person character class in our project. So yes, so we have a new folder third person BP, another folder mannequin. In the third person BP blueprints we have this class, so we hit Ctrl W to duplicate it, and we're gonna name it simply zombie, and we move it to the zombie folder. Move here. So this is the starting point for our character. We access it. We access this class. So first of all, for our player character, we should create two more variables. The first one we're gonna name health armor. Gonna name armor, the first one. The second one health. Both of float type. Float type, both of them. We compile. Compile result. Okay. So in the zombie character, we just remove everything contained in the event graph. We don't need it. So we compile with F7 and we add 3 variables for the zombie class. So 3 variables. The first one is melee. Of Boolean type, indicated when the zombie is gonna melee us, is gonna be in melee mode. Second variable is health. Second variable. The third variable, we name this variable dead, indicating when the zombie is dead. Health of float, of course, and we just I'm gonna move it to keep same type variables together. So I compile. Now in the first person character, I'm gonna add a new function. This function is gonna work on our health and armor when we're damaged. So function, a new function. I'm gonna call it damage processing. So this function is called when we want to damage the player character. So damage processing. I'm gonna add an input. Name it damage of float type of course. And so I have this input. Yeah, I have this input. So the first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna check if we have an armor. So gonna call armor. If it's superior than 0, branch. If we have an armor, the value is superior than 0, what we're gonna do, we're gonna decrease the value of the armor. So gonna drag armor to set it. Here armor minus the damage, and we set the armor with the new value, decreasing the value of the armor with the damage. So now we're gonna do another test to see if the armor is still superior than 0. So here copy and paste. For the sake of clarity, I'm gonna choose this time inferior than 0. For the sake of clarity, if the armor is inferior than 0 after the damaging, so we're gonna affect our health. So health minus a float, and we're gonna plug in the absolute value of the armor. This is the level of the armor below 0. So, and of course we're gonna set health with the new value and plug in true for the armor. So, and we're gonna set the armor to 0, of course. We don't want to have a negative value for the armor. So this, in case in the first place we have an armor. If we don't have an armor, we have 0 as an armor value. So we're gonna affect directly our health, obviously. So health, I'm gonna here copy and paste, it's better. Health minus the damage, health setting, and we're gonna see if our health is inferior than 0 now. So gonna copy this one, paste it here. So if our health is inferior than 0, sorry, here, we're gonna nullify it. So inferior than 0, true. Gonna nullify it to have 0 at the health value in this case. So this is our damage processing function, guys. So we compile and we save all. So our zombie is gonna use this function to damage our character. So back to the zombie character. For this zombie class, we're gonna create an AI controller. This is the brain of our zombie. So new blueprint class, all classes. We're gonna choose the parent class Detour Crowd AI controller, which helps when there is a lot of other NPCs in the area for the AI character to know its way through the crowd. So Detour Crowd AI controller as a parent class for our AI controller. Select, we name the AI controller Zombie AI controller. We access it. So we have the AI controller. In the zombie class defaults, we choose it as a controller, AI controller class zombie AI controller. I should correct its name. I named it zombie AI controller, so it's zombie AI controller. So we have the AI controller in front of us. For the zombie, so we have these new variables. We're gonna get rid of other component which we don't need. So for the camera boom and its camera, we don't need it, so we delete both. Mesh arrow component, capsule component, that's what we need as component. The character movement component. I compile. Zombie AI controller, we're gonna get a component for the perception of the AI, so add component AI perception. So this is the perception of the brain of our zombie. This perception can include a lot of senses. We just gonna use the sense site. So senses config, we add a new element. We choose the AI site config, the site sense, site radius, at which radius we're gonna be seen. So we choose 2200. Lose site radius when the AI no longer can see us. 3000, we keep the default value. Peripheral vision half angle degrees, we're gonna choose something crazy, as if you can see in all directions, so 180 degrees. Detection by affiliation, we're gonna check the remaining two ones, because so we don't have a problem with the AI seeing our character. So compile, save. So debug color, this is for the gizmo when he sees us. So event graph for the AI controller. So the AI controller, when the AI controller sees us, he's gonna move the zombie toward us. So I'm gonna do the event graph for this. Click on AI perception, add event, on target perception updated. This is the event when the AI sees us. So here we're gonna split the stimulus struct. Actor, scene actor, we cast it to first person character. As if successfully sensed, we're gonna add a branch here. We add a branch here, so we cast the actor. If it's successfully sensed, as first person character, we promote this to a variable, promote to variable, we call it the player character. Now we're gonna set a timer by event. This time it's gonna be looping. The event is gonna be we add a custom event. No need to name it. So sorry, no need to name this event. Here we add the function move to actor. And we set the goal as the player character. It is, we have the node, and that's it. So this is when we see the player character. So it's gonna always call this event at this rate, 0.2 seconds. And of course we output the timer handler. So the timer handle, so we call it timer inside our zombie. So this is when we were seen. When we were not successfully seen, we're gonna just clear the variable, the player character. We clear it, and we clear the timer also. So we also clear the timer. So we drag the timer, clear, and invalidate timer by handle. We clear the timer. We compile and we save. So we have the function for the following of the character when he is seen. So we add a commentary, just a little bit. we add a comment. So AI, simply AI for following the character. So this is the commentary. Now we should test this situation. So in the first level, guys, you should load the first level map, the first level map, in order to have it by default when you launch the project. As you know, in project settings, maps and modes, in the editor startup map, you choose first level as the property. Game default map, you choose also first level. So this way you will have it by default when the project is launched. We're gonna do some little modification for the map. So for this one, we're gonna multiply it by 2. Gonna multiply it by 2, this mesh, floor mesh. So in the Y scaling, gonna just unlock this lock. In the Y scaling, I'm gonna just enter 18. And for these two brushes, we're gonna multiply them to follow the floor. So just the bottom Y, the Y dimension we chose 18,000. This way we have a uniform map. Save the map. Now, of course, we should add nav mesh bounds volume for the AI to know its way. So in the place actor panel, we add a nav mesh. We add it. It's like a brush, so for its Y we just choose 18,000, like these two brushes. Hit enter, and maybe there is something on. I just need to adjust it. It's better to work in the top view for these guys, so choose top, brush wireframe, no, lit, to have it in the lit mode. Just move it like this, like that. For the X, we just gonna choose for now 9,000 is the half of this, so 9,000. It's too much, maybe. We just decrease it by the fifth, so it should be 8,000. I'm gonna hit enter 7,500 as the X dimension. Now it's good now. So top perspective, we hit P to see the mesh, to see the nav mesh. We just lift it a little bit up just to see the nav mesh. We're in the game to be able to see the nav mesh, so gonna increase its Z a little bit, 400. Now we can see it, the nav mesh. We save the map. We have a nav mesh now, so I'm gonna hit P again to remove the green color, and I'm gonna add, of course, first of all, for the first person character, you add AI perception stimulus. So we become a stimuli source for the AI perception of the zombie, to stimulate its AI perception. So we add the component, and here in the component AI perception auto register as source checked. Register as source for senses. We add the sight sense. Here it is, and that should be all. Compile. Back. We hit. I should add the characters to the level. I'm gonna save all the files. I add the zombie character here. I hit and to drop it on the floor, and my player start is by default in the center. I'm gonna drag it back to increase the distance from the zombie. I'm gonna hit play, save all. I'm gonna hit play to see how it looks. Play. So I am the character. It's better to have it as a new editor window. So new editor window, it's better. So we have the zombie. It's too far from us, so I should a little bit approach myself to him. Should approach myself to him. Hit play. Where he is? He's too far. But we're gonna see how this goes. So guys, we're approaching this character zombie. I'm gonna hit the comma in the keyboard to see the AI debugging information. So gonna hit 4 to see the AI perception. So this is the range of his perception. So here he's not gonna see us. He's not gonna see us. In this range, this green circle, he's gonna see us. So he's gonna follow us. See the gizmo. He's very fast, this zombie character. So I'm gonna decrease his speed, character movement, just down. Walking section, max walk speed, I'm gonna set it to 300. Compile. Gonna approach myself more to him because it's too far. This is a kind of a big area. So play. Where is the zombie? Seeing the zombie. So he's gonna follow us. So I'm gonna start decreasing. His speed is now manageable. So as you can see, he's just following us until he reaches us. So we escape from him. He follows us again. So hit escape to stop the test. Now we have the following mechanism for our zombie. Gonna save all. Now we should move to the player damaging part of this video. So in the zombie, we're gonna create a damaging collision, a damaging trigger when the player is inside this trigger capsule that we're gonna add, the zombie is gonna start damaging it. When he no longer inside the capsule, the zombie is gonna stop damaging him. So add component to the root component, add component, collision, capsule collision. For its half height, we choose a value of 96. For its radius, we choose a value of 45. So this is the collision for the damaging of the character. So back to the event graph of the zombie, we add an event for the, we're gonna name of course the new component, we're gonna name it melee capsule, melee trigger. So for now we're gonna just damage the character. Further throughout this tutorial, in the next video, we're gonna change this to we're gonna damage the player character with our hands. We're gonna add collisions to our hands, have a glowing animation, and these collisions in the hands of the zombie are gonna damage the player character. So now just when he's inside this collision, the player character, he's gonna get damaged by the zombie. And of course I'm gonna increase the radius of this collision because this is too tight. So capsule radius, gonna choose 90. I think this is good. Yes, it's good. Compile. Event graph, we add an event and component begin overlap for this collision. Melee trigger, again add event and component and overlap, sorry. Other actor, for the begin overlap event, other actor we cast it to first person character. If the cast is successful, we're gonna set a timer. So here we don't need to promote it, just directly set the timer. Set timer by event. The event is gonna be just a custom one, and we're gonna set it at looping, of course. Time, we're gonna choose damage each 1 second, and custom event, we're gonna just call the damage processing function on the player character. So zombie, here as player character, it should be better to, no, we don't need, even then we don't need to do it. So damage processing, just don't need to do it. So call this damage processing function on the player character. The damage we're gonna choose a fifth of the armor or the health, 0.2. Of course, in our first person character, we're gonna set default values for the armor and the health. Armor 1, 100%, health 1, 100%. We compile. Back to the zombie character, damage processing, and that's it. We're gonna display the armor and the health as we damage the player character. So here we're gonna use a node for the text format text, its name, I think, text format. There is a function to format the text. We're gonna drag from the first person character the armor, and we drag also the health. And here we should have a node to compose the text. So should just have the same problem for the same menu problem of Unreal Engine. So I'm gonna restart the engine and go back to you in a second, guys. Sorry for this. So back to the work. Damage processing, armor. Just here, just right click in the event graph and choose text format. You should find, yes, you should find the node to compose the text with these two variables. So text format, you enter the format armor equal, and between how you call them, these signs, I forgot their names, sorry guys. So armor, we're gonna enter armor equal that parameter, and health equal that parameter, the parameter health. Yeah, so automatically we're gonna have two new parameters for this node. We're gonna link armor to armor and health to health. Now we should have this phrase armor equal the armor value and health equal the health value of our character. The result, we're gonna do a print string with that phrase. So should have this phrase displayed in the screen as the zombie damage our character, indicating the health and armor of the character. So now we have what we do when we have when the character is inside the melee trigger. When he leaves the melee trigger, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just clear the timer to stop the damaging. So return value, promote to variable timer for the zombie timer, yes, because we have a timer for the zombie controller, so they're not linked. Other actor, we should make sure it's our character who is leaving the capsule. So we cast to first person character, cast successful, just clear the timer. Now we should have it all working for this video, guys. So clear and invalidate timer by handle, and that's it. So should be like this. Compile, save. So we have the code for the damaging of the character. It's gonna be this way in this video. The next video it's gonna be another story, so just to get us started. Here for the comment, I should just call this code with its two parts melee. I should call it rather, yes, melee attack of the zombie. So melee attack of the zombie. So compile, save all, and we're gonna test the situation. So I still think we're very far from the zombie, so gonna hit play. New editor window. Where is he? There he is. So I'm gonna hit apostrophe to see the debugging informations. The number 4 for the perception, debugging for the perception. So we have the exit range for the perception. We enter its range. He's gonna follow us. I should remove the debugging so we can see the print string for the armor and the health. We wait for him. As you can see, our armor is decreasing. Now our health is decreasing until both at 0. So when we yes, just 0 0. I'm gonna test the situation when we leave the damage trigger, guys. So he's damaging us right now. Now he no longer damages us. Now resume to damages, resuming to the damaging. So everything work correctly. So that will be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.